Feel good that some of the pictures you're seeing.
All right. Hey everyone, my name is Tommy McGee, and I am the creator and organizer of a local YouTube community called Tulsa YouTubers. And we have been meeting for almost 3 years. We have over 400 members in our Facebook group and about 300 in our meetup.com group. We have a very active community with people all the way from 0 subscribers or not, or people that have not started a channel yet but they're thinking about it, all the way up to one person surpassing 1 million subscribers recently with this the Mean Kitty channel. So it's pretty cool, and we got everything in between, all kinds of channels. Without further ado, I will go ahead and introduce our panelists. First up, we have Stephanie Bethel, who is a 24-year-old content creator with channels focused on autism, faith, and life, with her biggest channel, Stephanie Bethany, just recently surpassing 8,000 subscribers. In her professional life, she has been a social media manager as well as a video editor, using these acquired skills to further her progress on YouTube. Next, we have MJ and her mom Fallon from MJ's Toy Box. They run a family-friendly YouTube channel featuring kid content, toy reviews, local con coverage, and all things pop culture. They also partnered with the Family Video Network in 2017 and work locally with Tulsa Pop Kids as well. Next, we have Kathy, otherwise known to the viewers as Mama Imagine, who is a creator and manager of We Imagine, and also we have her daughter here as well, who is known on the channel as Buck. We Imagine is a kid and family-friendly channel emphasizing toys, play, and of course imagination. The channel involves the whole We Imagine family, from Daddy Imagine to brothers Creighton, Zachary, Anthony, and little sister Buck, of course. JP, we have next, is the creator and host of the sci-fi comedy geekertainment series Egotastic Fun Time, the #1 source for everything having to do with the Orville on Fox, Star Trek fandom, and nerd humor, as he attempts to make all your times ego-tastic fun times. Okay, to start out, we will just go with some basics, like how did you get started, and what made you want to start a YouTube channel in the first place?
So I got started a few times. I had a few false starts, I guess. I was interested in YouTube from my teenage years, being able to see all these people, pursue their passions and share really anything that interests them or their voice. And I thought, maybe I can do that too. I used to have an animated music video channel, and then I decided to ditch that. And I started another channel, and I had like one video for some reason take off, and I tried again, and then I got discouraged, and then I tried again. And so I think that's kind of the process with a lot of YouTubers, is this kind of, we have to keep going, and we think that things should like happen immediately, and they don't really do that. So it's kind of been an interesting journey for me, but that's kind of how I got started.
Hi, I'm MJ, that's my mom. We started our YouTube channel as a Girl Scout project. I had to create a video about what I was passionate about, and then I asked my dad when he was half asleep if I could put it on YouTube, and he said yes. And it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it, so we kept going, and we're here.
The funny story is behind it is because she asked me for like 3 years if she got a YouTube channel, and I refused. And so she went to her dad when she knew he was going to agree to something that I was not going to, and that's how our channels work. So.
Well, we started kind of out of one of our boys said, well, hey, he's going to do a gaming channel with YouTube, and we had no idea what that was going to be all about. And then Bug started watching some of the kid and family channels, and she was like, hey, I want to do that. And I have no idea how to edit. I have no idea how to do any of this, but we started, I said, okay, we'll do it together. We'll start playing together and exploring it, and it's just kind of grown, and it's fun to tell the stories and do something new, creative every single day. So.
Funny story like that one. My mom was like, no way I'm going to do this by myself because, yeah, I can't do it really. I don't know editing. I don't know all that stuff Mom knows how to do. And she just said, let's do it together. And that's how our YouTube channel was really born.
I started YouTube for a myriad of reasons. You know, why everybody starts. They want to be creative. They want to express themselves. I come from a creative background. I grew up in Southern California doing theater and all that stuff. And I also come from a very geeky background. My group of friends, you know, we'd always sit around talking about our favorite movies, TV shows. Oh, hey, you know, what's going to happen next week on this show or that show? And we'd just have all these. We'd sit until 3, 4 in the morning outside of a Starbucks way after they closed, just talking all the time. And I moved out here, my group of friends is gone, so I wanted to express myself and have those conversations again. So I started my YouTube channel to talk about geeky stuff and to find a community again. And luckily I was able to do that. So now I get to talk about nerdy stuff all the time, and I get to be creative. I get to be a sci-fi comedic vibe curator on YouTube. So, you know, it's satiating that need, and also I always wanted to, do these things and hopefully find a way to make an extra few bucks. Because, life is expensive. And so YouTube has allowed that. And hopefully allows it for everybody on the panel.
All right, thank you. What are some obstacles that you guys have come across that maybe were unexpected, and how did you overcome them? And again, we don't have to have everyone answer every question if you want.
Okay. So our biggest obstacle that we overcame was, and continually haven't overcome, is the rules and behind having kids on YouTube. There's a lot of rules that YouTube requires, and then one thing I thought about last night again was also Federal Trade Commission guidelines. Anytime you have a kid and you're promoting a product or talking about a product, and the kids are talking about a product, and you're marketing towards under 18, there's a lot of strict laws that are required on how to do it, because you're going to get slapped with a $10,000 fine. So our thing has been making sure that all of our videos are within the FTC guidelines and then the YouTube guidelines for kids. So.
Some of the challenges I had were time. It takes a lot of time. A lot of your brain power has to go towards this thing. So, finding that life YouTube balance was very hard. Also, the rules. The rules are always changing on YouTube. I'm not dealing with the under 18 rules. I'm dealing with the over 18 rules, which has a whole other set of issues. So every time, if you show a picture, if you show a clip from an episode of something, there's rules you have to abide by. What are the rules? They're not going to tell you. You have to figure it out. So I was always having trials and errors. Trial and errors. I put something out with a little bit of a clip of something. Apparently I did it wrong, so then I was like, okay, we changed some things around, which I did, and then that worked, and then all of a sudden I did that same thing a few months later, and it's wrong again. So you have to keep adjusting to what's going on. So it's really, and of course the obstacle everyone's going to have is just getting noticed and people clicking on your videos. So I've had so many different types of ways that I've created my thumbnails over the years, and I'm always adapting, always changing, always coming up with a format. I spent years just tweaking and tweaking and tweaking until I came up with a format that just works, seems to work pretty well. So the challenge is time. You're not going to do it perfect right off the bat. It's going to be a lot of trial and error and tweaking. all you need is an internet connection and something that takes video and or audio that you can record with. That's it. A cell phone is all you need with a 3G connection. You're going to be waiting a little bit longer when you're uploading, but you can still upload. That is all you need. And you know, you can work out the other stuff later as you grow, as you figure stuff out. You can get that nicer camera, you can get those lights, do all that stuff, but it's not required. This is YouTube. This is not television. It's not a streaming app by CBS. It's YouTube, and people know that it's YouTube. They understand the technology as well as far as phones and stuff goes. So people are used to that now. So I really don't think you need much. Just, you know, say some things on a camera, say it on your phone and upload it and see how it goes.
You know, and I agree with that a lot because it's mainly getting started because you are going to find that you'll find that as you find your voice, you're going to change what camera you use because, you know, somebody's going to say, hey, this camera's great for vlogging. Well, if you find that you're not vlogging, but like we do like little tiny things, little animated, totally different thing. And as you kind of find out, oh, lighting, what's different? If you go out and you buy everything that you think you need to begin with, you're going to end up changing it and finding something different. And so it's kind of better just to go out there, start experimenting, just start and seeing where you're going with it. Then, and as you talk to people who are doing the same thing you're doing, you may get suggestions and stuff, but you will find, just with experimenting, that it is just a phone and a light, you know, so.
And I can add on that. For instance, you know, right away I got a pretty nice camera, some lights, editing software. You know, I built my audience. You know, it took years and years and years. I put out, you know, I did tons of editing. I'll still spend 3 days editing something. But then on Fridays, I go out and I go out in my car with my cell phone and I just record and give my first impression of a new episode of The Orville. It takes me 10 minutes to do. I upload it. I don't do anything special. It gets just as many views as the video I spend 3 days writing and editing. So just get your cell phone out and upload to YouTube. That's what it's there for.
And even if you don't have a fancy cell phone, which most people do, but say that you don't, if any of you are familiar with Shoe on Head, she records with what she calls her potato camera. It's one of those really old webcams, has terrible quality, but everyone loves it. It's kind of one of her things, and I think one of the biggest things, if you are looking for even a small upgrade, is your audio. People will deal with bad video as long as they can hear you clearly. So if you have a little bit of money to spend and you don't have great audio and video, I would suggest on Amazon there's just this little lapel mic that you can plug into an audio jack. Most things have an audio jack for pretty inexpensive, so if you're looking for that in particular, that can help too.
Great, thank you. And this is a question maybe I'm curious about, maybe the audience as well. What kind of software do you guys use to edit your videos?
We still use Windows Movie Maker, and we've tried other things, but I'm terrible at learning new things, and so I've just continued to use Windows Movie Maker, and it's like the most basic thing out there, and it's free with the Windows 10. So, and I've continued to use it to this day.
I've worked with Adobe products before, but for me personally, I don't have the funds for my own personal use of it. So I actually use something called DaVinci Resolve. It has a free version and a paid version, but the free version is also really powerful. So if you're familiar with maybe bigger editors, that would definitely be a good option for you as well, and it is free.
We use Power Director. We started with Movie Maker and then switched to Power Director. It's relatively inexpensive. And for somebody like me who is not techie at all, I even can figure it out. So, and we just recently upgraded. I think we were talking about that at Tulsa YouTubers, but it speeded it up a little bit for me because it was kind of glitchy at times.
I've used Sony Movie Studio 13. It's basically, if you're familiar with Vegas, it's the same as Vegas. And I've used it since the beginning, for about 4 years now. And I should upgrade, but because I've used it so much, I just know the ins and outs of it. When I start editing, I can close my eyes and just, go nuts. And so I probably should upgrade, but that's what I use and it works well for me.
Great, thank you. Does the audience have any questions so far that they'd like to ask? Okay. We'll move on to another question then. Do any of you guys utilize the Premiere feature? I know that's a fairly new feature on YouTube. Can you explain?
I use it every once in a while. It's a new feature. Basically, when you're going to put out a video, you can schedule videos to come out at a certain day and time. If you click on the Premiere feature, it does this new thing where as soon as you click on the Premiere, say you want it to premiere tomorrow at 8, and you click on Premiere and you have it scheduled, it instantly starts up a chat room. That video, where that video is going to play, has an address, has a URL. People can go there. They can chat with each other. They can chat with you. They can tip you, which is very nice. And you can have a dialogue. And then right before the video is going to air, like say it's 8 o'clock, that's when you have it scheduled. At that time, you're all there waiting together. You're watching it with your audience. This really cool countdown clock goes on the screen with music, and it's like 10, 9, 8, and then all of a sudden your video starts playing. So you can watch your video and chat with your audience at the same time. And the chat room stays open for a little bit after the video is done playing. So you can discuss the video and experience it together. I only use it once in a while, like if I have a really good video, if I'm just putting up some, hey guys, here's what I watched today. I don't usually do it because, I want it to be for one of my really important videos or something people have been waiting for. But if you choose to use it, I suggest just try it once or twice to get the experience, because it is kind of fun.
Okay, thank you. What are some overlooked skills someone might want to learn if they want to succeed on YouTube?
You guys looking at me?
No, what is this first one?
You want to learn all the skills if you want to be successful. You want to have a thick skin because you are on the internet. And that goes even if you're not a YouTuber. If you're on social media, which I think everyone probably is, you want to have a thick skin, know where you want to drop your hat and have a conversation, because it's not always going to be worth it. People are going to say mean things. You can be the nicest person in the world. It doesn't matter. Someone's going to say, I hate how nice you are. So that's a very important skill. Other skills to learn is just have patience, not only with your audience, but with your channel, with yourself. This is not something you're going to be able to succeed at right away. It's going to take months, years, a decade. We don't even know if there'll still be an internet 10 years from now. It's just going to take a lot of time. But the people that stick with it, trust in themselves, you're going to want to quit over and over again. But if you just keep with it, something will happen. Very unlikely you're going to be PewDiePie, because only PewDiePie is PewDiePie. The best YouTubers out there with the biggest channels don't even come close to those numbers. But you're going to find a community, you're going to be part of it, you might be the leader of the community. So it's just an important skill that you're going to have to learn along the way, is just trust in yourself and just be patient.
I second the patience part, because it does take a lot of patience with overcoming a lot of frustrations, and also flexibility is a big one. I think most people who over here know me well enough to know that I'm kind of a control freak, and so I've had to kind of learn to let go of some of that control and be flexible, and know that just because my way is not necessarily always the best way, and so adapting and learning and
And another thing, obviously, the whole editing and how to do your video and what formats and stuff like that. But what's really important to learn is how to really engage with your audience, whether that's how you come across on camera or even what you do with your social media, being able to listen to what they're saying too, because that's a big part of what YouTube is that feeling that you are having this personal relationship with the YouTuber. So you don't want to like talk to people like you're scared of them, you want to talk to them like they're your best friend. And you also want to be able to start even utilizing like social media, polls, stuff like that. Make them feel like they're part of your content, they're a part of your community. It's not, for me at least, it's not the most natural thing to just know, because you can look at all the, for me, I look at all the things that technically need to happen. But if you can't engage or connect with your audience, you're not going to build an audience, because if they don't feel like you care, then they're not going to care about you either.
I think also one of the things to keep in mind, and we, being a toy channel, we work on this because there's certain toys that are trending, and it's with any channel. There's certain topics that are trending. It's nice to have the trending things, but it's also good to consider with your videos. Are they going to be evergreen? Are they going to be a video that somebody will come back to and watch a year from now? Is it, so that way as you build your library of videos, will they keep clicking your channel? Will they keep clicking the next video? And to make sure that there's something that they can go back and it's timely no matter when they watch it.
Great, thank you. Speaking of timely and everything, how important is upload frequency, and do you guys have a schedule you stick to?
I find it pretty important, especially because people want to know what they can expect from you, especially as subscribers. They want to know that you're going to be there, and that will make them be there too, if that makes sense. So if they know you're going to be posting on a certain day every single week, they know that kind of in the back of their mind that they can expect something new from you this week at this time or day. So for me, I just split my channel into 3 channels, but before that I had a channel schedule of 3 times a week, so now I have weekly on all 3 channels. And I did find that it really helps to grow the more frequently you are able to post. Some people manage doing like every day. I think that's a bit crazy for what I do, but several times a week, or at least twice a week, is really good for when you're growing. When you're more established, you can do the once a week. Some people do once a month. But I think it's really helpful just so that they know what to expect from you, and that way they can come knowing what they're going to get.
The YouTube algorithms really love scheduling. So if you are consistent and you have a video going up on a certain day every month, or a certain day every week, or however you choose to do it, as long as you're consistent, their algorithms really like that.
Try to post 3 times a week. We try to do it basically every 2 days. We usually try to do, and it's helped me because then sometimes, it's easy to put it off. It's easy to go, oh, well, I'm really busy today. But to know, oh, I'm expected to put up a video on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday or whatever. But we do try, and we found with the consistency, it has helped quite a bit.
I would love to be able to stick to a schedule, because I do think it's incredibly important. I try to do, 3 or 4 videos a week. It's just really tough, but I'm getting to the point where I'm going to be able to start putting something out every day, because that's my goal. Because the more I show up, the better it goes. I used to try to do 2 a week, and it was okay. As soon as I started doing 3, 4, the audience just kept growing and growing and growing. So, the more you can get there, as long as you're not burning yourself out or hurting yourself, post as much as you can. But don't go nuts. Don't be posting every 3 hours. Unless it works for you, because there's different schools of thoughts. There's different things that work for different people, depending on the type of audience that you have. But yeah, I highly recommend sticking to a schedule if you can.
Awesome, thank you. Our next question, how do you promote and market your YouTube channel?
So for us, since we're a kids channel, A lot of people think that, promoting on Facebook or promoting on Instagram or things like that will get you further. But for us, for a kids channel, none of that's really worked for us. We tried it and it just doesn't. Because for us, it's just having quality content, having good quality thumbnails that are eye-catching, and making your video stand out from the 10,000 other toy videos that are out there on that same particular product. So yeah, the thumbnails is the biggest way to really make your videos pop and catch people's attention. And then, again, sticking to a schedule so that people know that you're being consistent. And that's being picked up in the algorithms to be suggested videos. For us, that's what has always worked.
And as for, I guess, advertising or sharing or marketing, obviously your normal social media to let people know that it's out. But for me, something I found was being able to find communities that are interested in what you're talking about, especially on Facebook. You have groups that are out there. Now you have to be careful and be respectful of people's rules, because a lot of people have come in there and push their products, push their stuff. But if you can find some communities that you can become a part of, it really helps. Like for me, I have a channel on autism, so I am a part of groups that have to do with autism. So when I post a video, it's actually helpful information to them. It's not me just trying to push on them something they don't want to hear. It's actually useful, and so I'm getting an audience from these groups because they actually want what I'm putting out there, if that makes sense.
I've done it all. I've done it all. Every social media that there is, I've paid for ads. I've on different social medias on YouTube. I've tried it all just to see what's up. And what I do now is I focus on the Google search engine. That gets the most traction. So I'm keywords. I place keywords in places you wouldn't even know there's keywords. So I focus on the robots. So the robots can serve my stuff up to people that might be looking for it. That gives me the biggest traction. Now on social media, I'm on everything, and I use it all day, every day. But I use it to engage with the audience. And I find when I engage with the audience, say, hey, what's up? What did you think of this episode of Battlestar Galactica or Star Trek, something like that? And you just engage them, you ask questions, and they'll share your stuff for you because they start rooting for you. And that seems to, when I do that, my videos get a lot more views because people are sharing it for me. If you try to share it for some reason, the internet, the world does not want your stuff to get seen if you want people to see your stuff. Everything is set up against you. So I use the social media to be social, and on YouTube I work on those robots.
Awesome, thank you. What can you guys tell me about the community tab? Do you utilize that for videos as well?
Of course. It's the community tab. If your channel has been chosen to unlock that feature, I think they roll it out. Different channels get it at different times. I got mine a few months ago, and I use it as my main. The community tab is basically a social media page on your YouTube channels. Your fans can click on it, and then all of a sudden there's this, looks kind of like a Facebook news feed, but you have control over it. So you can use that to advertise your stuff, to do polls, ask questions, do fun stuff, post thumbnails, all that good stuff, just like you would on Facebook, except for your fans are actually being notified about it, and they're engaging. So if I post, I have thousands of people on Twitter. If I post something fun, a fun thumbnail, asking a question, I'll get a handful of people that are chiming in. If I do that same thing on my community tab, hundreds of people show up to talk about that thing and comment. So if you're able to get that feature, if it's rolled out to you as of now, start using it right away.
Yeah, and another thing,
I was going to say, on that note, is unlocking that based on how many people are subscribed, or is it according to how long you've been on, or?
I think you probably have to have at least 1,000, because I was under the impression, but that was just me not reading things. When I had 10,000 people, all of a sudden I got this email, oh, you unlocked the community tab. And I thought, oh, that must be something you unlock when you reach 10,000 subscribers. But don't some of you have it that have 8,000 or?
I think it's based on partnership. Once you reach the partnership, you become monetized, then you have access to that.
Okay. Also, since it's a newer feature, they slowly roll it out, so not everybody gets it at the same time. And so it might just still be kind of slowly rolling into everybody to where people are getting it. I don't think they're just working on it.
Like I had it, and then my buddy, his channel, he has 75,000 subscribers, and he didn't even have the ability yet. And I'm like, okay, just wait. And then he finally got it, and I had to say, don't forget to use it, keep using it.
Another cool thing I have noticed about the community tab is I will see community posts from people I'm not actually subscribed to. So that might get you in the area of people who might be interested in what you're talking about and similar people. Because it has been suggesting stuff, maybe I watched a few videos from this kind of community. I'll get posts in my feed from people in that community, though I have not subscribed to them. So that's, I think, a really good feature of that.
All right. What about coming up with compelling titles for your videos? Do you guys have any strategies that you'd like to share?
I have a strategy for everything. Keywords. I don't get flashy or fun with my titles as much as I'd like to. I used to all the time. I'd say, I'd have some funny thing I put in the title. Now I put keywords in there. Hardcore, and you get 100 characters, so I use all 100 characters. I'll do the boring title that has the keywords at the beginning, then I'll do a hyphen, say something fun or say something extra to let them know that this video is also about this as well. And it's all about keywords, so as much as you'd like to have something fun, don't put it in there until you get your keywords in there first.
Yeah, when we pick our titles, we usually try to do something with that'll be searchable, because since we're kids, you try to think, what is a kid going to type in? Because they're not going to type in something long. They're not going to type in something catchy. And we also use TubeBuddy and vidIQ. And a lot of times it'll give you like the power of the search. It'll show you the analytics for it. And so a lot of times, sometimes it's just switching some of those keywords around and putting the more important ones first and finding something that hopefully some kid's gonna go, yeah, I'm gonna click that.
I do know that YouTube hates the asterisk in the titles. Any video we've ever done with an asterisk in the title, like separating thoughts or whatever, it's bombed. But any other characters, it seems to be okay, but they don't like the asterisk. So.
Okay, what about thumbnails? Any strategies for thumbnails?
Bright, bold, beautiful, eye-catching, making your video stand out or your thumbnail standing out from other videos. If you do your uploading and you, like when we first started, we primarily did shotguns. Well, there is 10 million shotguns videos. So it's how do you make your thumbnail stand out so that people are going to click on your thumbnail versus the 10 million other ones. And so we always do a search to see kind of what other videos might be out there, and then how can we improve from there? From what do we see? What can we do to make it look better? Yeah, and PNG files. If we're reviewing a certain product, we'll look for a PNG file that's an overlay file, and so we'll put the logo is big and bold, so it's like it looks more official.
You'll want whatever your subject is, especially to be there front and center. So if you're a person who is reviewing toys or whatnot, you'll want to be able to see that toy. And there's been a lot of information on making sure that your background isn't really what people are looking at. So a lot of people will blur out their background and make them in focus. And we have also heard that people respond better to faces. So if you are talking about something, you want your face to be taking up most of your thumbnail, not all of it, but enough of it for them to be able to see who you are and recognize you. Just apparently people respond better to that. So.
Ditto to everything everybody said. Big, bold, beautiful, eye-catching. Things that I do is the faces. I always have a big face on there somewhere. Well, actually not somewhere, it's always on the right. I put it on the right. And I have my logo on the left, bottom left corner. And I make all my thumbnails, and this is something, I've had a lot of different style of thumbnails over the years, and I finally found that one that worked, that style. I have a style for my thumbnail, because that way when people go on YouTube, my fans, they see a thumbnail, they instantly know that's from my channel, if they're familiar with my channel. So my thumbnails are uniform in style, but also, the face is eye-catching. I don't put too much text on there, but I do always have text on there. If there's too much to read, it starts to look like, National Enquirer story or something like that.
Yes.
Hi, thanks. I was actually wondering, especially in winter, it's really hard to get good lighting to do, videos and things. What are some lighting equipment that you guys use or would recommend to get a video that's not overblown out but isn't too dark either? What's a good natural source other than the sun? Because
There is an amazing light kit. I think all of us know about it. If you probably use it or have it, but it's like a $30 kit on Amazon. It includes 3 lights, 2 umbrellas, and it's super cheap, and it folds up into this little super portable bag, and it's great. And it's at $30 or $40, depending on if you catch it when it's on additional sale or not. And we found that, because again, our channel's kid focused, and so she's the main person on the channel, and her, for whatever reason, blue makes her skin tone look a lot better. And so we changed our background to blue and used 5,000K light bulbs at the suggestion of another YouTuber that we work with, and it totally changed everything. It changed how the complete look of our channel and responds better. So, and we did actually go back and look at when we used a white background versus a blue background, and when the blue backgrounds seem to get better, better retention, better viewer retention, because they're more visually pleasing. Yeah, she says orange with the regular light bulb, she looked like a new Polo gun. I don't think she did look like a new Polo gun, but the yellow, the typical standard like household light bulbs really washed her out really bad. So
5K?
We switched to 5K.
Great, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a fun question. What is your favorite part about being a YouTuber?
One of my favorite parts about being a YouTuber is that I get to be creative and I get to be who I am, and I get to share it with other people, and it's really fun, and it's just, I get to be what I'm passionate about, and I get to share it with other people, and it's great.
One of my favorite things is because we are, we're kid-centered, and we're also nerdy. We're so nerdy. And when I was growing up, I'd get beat up for reading comic books for being a girl. And so by having this outlet, we can inspire other people, girls, boys, whatever, to enjoy it, to really be like love what they love and not be ashamed of it and be proud of it. And it's given us ways to connect with people that are like us and to be inspirational for other people. And then we've also been inspired by other people as well. And it's opened up it's like huge connections. In 2017, we were one of 250 channels that were invited to Sweet Sweet in New York City. And it was a pre-Christmas, it's pre-New York Toy Fair, so we got to review all the toys that were coming up for Christmas and the following year before anybody else did. And it was at the Chelsea Piers in New York. That was really awesome. And we've met some incredible people, some huge YouTubers who were invested in us and wanted to help us make us better. And we've gotten involved with a bunch of people in the community and really gotten out there. And so it's really opened up a lot of opportunities for our kids' futures. And that's probably my favorite part about being a YouTuber. She said it's opened up opportunities for a lot of travel for places we never thought we'd be able to go to and things like that. So
for me, it's very, very similar, but coming from a standpoint where it is difficult for me to always come across the way I want to. I have difficulty connecting to people, and it just everyone else seems to be able to have that connection. And so for me, YouTube kind of opens that up for me.
So basically, I love spending time with my mom and doing videos with her, and I love expressing my voice and how to do it in fun ways and expressing myself and my inner sparkle.
I also wanted to find my inner sparkle, and I wanted to be creative. That's what I love about it. There's a lot of things I love about it. Engaging with this community, which is one of the reasons I had this desire to start doing YouTube. But also, and this surprised me, I actually really enjoy editing. The process of editing. And, I write scripts, and I'm always thinking of what I'm going to be doing in the editing suite when I'm writing them. And then I think I have the script the way it is, and I film it and I start editing it, and then I start making tweaks during the edit where it comes out in a different way or a better way. So I'm almost like editing is part of the writing process as well for me. So that's just I don't recommend getting into editing because it's a huge headache, but I really enjoy it.
I think for me too is the ability to storytell. We do a lot of storytelling and inspiring kids to play with toys, and there's so much development that is beneficial to a child that's still playing with toys. And a lot of times in the day of electronics, that's what they're doing. And that's not all bad, but sometimes there's that building and the motor skills and the, hey, what can I create from this? And so that has been really fun for us to watch these kids go, oh, well, after I watched your video, I went and they got out their toys and they started making their own story. And it's, I always kind of wanted to be a writer, a kid's story teller. And so this allows us to do it in just a different creative way and inspire them to go and grab their toys and then start making their own stories. That's a lot of fun.
Awesome, thank you. I did just come up with a question kind of based on what JP was talking about scripting. How much planning do you guys do before you start shooting video?
So for me, it depends on what kind of video I'm doing. I'm not exactly the best at words. I actually do better writing. So a lot of times when I have a topic I want to talk about, I will actually just write it all out. And then for a while, I would memorize parts of it, shoot that clip, and then go on from there. Sometimes if I'm really confident with how I want to say something, or if it's maybe turning in a different direction as I'm saying it, I'll kind of take some liberties, but it really helps me to stay on point because I noticed when I first started, I would just go off into wherever, and I had to do a lot of editing because none of it was making sense. So for me, when it's a topic that I really want to get across with maybe facts and different logical points, for me, that's important. So, or things I want to remember, I do take time to kind of write it all out. And then other things where I'm just telling you my story or my experience, then I'll just be thinking about it, and then I'll just sit down and go for it.
So for us, we do toy unboxings and we do reviews on what we think for different pop culture stuff. We don't use scripts. We just use what we think in the moment. And I think that's really cool. Personally, I don't think I could use a script but for what we do, yeah. So we don't use scripts, but a lot of people do, and yeah, not gonna work.
But I will say this, she's the creative mind behind everything we do. She decides what she's going to, or her and her brother, they decide what we're going to talk about, what we're going to review. They research it, they put it together, kind of figure out what they want to do, but everything's them. I edit it and film it. They do everything else. So, and she's learned how to start editing herself. So.
I script everything. Well, no, I have about 3 or 4 different styles of videos that I do. I have my big to-do videos that are highly, edited and, lots of cutaways to other things. That's the big thing that I do to showcase what I can do on my channel. Then I have my kind of webcam reviews where I'm sitting in front of my webcam talking to the audience. I do my live streams, and then I do a car video on Fridays where I give my first impression of something I just watched. The car videos, just right off the top of my head. Live streams, I prepare things for us to do, but that's just right off the top of my head because I'm engaging with the audience. My webcam videos and my big to-do videos, everything is completely scripted. I'll spend a day, 2 days, many hours writing a script, going over it again, cutting stuff out, rewriting it. And a lot of people don't realize that I do that because, in my videos I'll do ums and ahs, but they don't realize those ums and ahs are all written into the script. And to throw them off the scent that it's scripted. But I tell people all the time, no, I script everything, and they're like, what?
First of all, that's awesome. Like, I've never heard of anyone actually purposely putting an in their YouTube videos. I edit the heck out my ums out, my ums, ohs, words that I make up on the spot that don't actually exist, all kinds of stuff. Like, I think I can invent my own dictionary with just random stuff that pops out of my head, pops into my head, whatever. Let's see. Does anyone from the audience have any questions so far? Go for it.
Sorry, me again. On the you had mentioned the webcam. I was kind of wondering, for a beginner, with a budget, but what's reasonable for quality with cameras? What would I shoot for?
Because I'm always like, I want something a little bit better, and then every time I look, the one that I have is always the highest rated one, and it's not expensive. It's like a $50, I can't remember what it is. It's like if you just go type in webcam, it's like the first thing on Amazon that pops up. And so I use that, and then as far as lighting goes, it's all about lighting with any camera you use. Having your face lit up, but it's a webcam, so I'm right in front of the computer screen. So the computer screen, I have a big computer screen. My computer screen becomes my light. That lights my face up because I've tried doing other lights with it, and it just washes it out or it makes the background pop too much. So I just use my monitor as my light because I'm sitting right in front of the thing. And $50, you can get you a great webcam.
All right, thank you.
I want to spend more, I just can't find one that they'll charge more for.
I actually use a Logitech camera, Logitech 920C, I believe, and it works great. Really high quality, and has autofocus on it. It's really good about taking in proper amount of light and adjusting your whole image based on the lighting. It's amazing. I can turn the light on and it'll adjust it all of a sudden, and it'll be just as great as it looked before. So, let's see. Do we have any other questions so far?
I wanted to go back to the webcam real quick. Also, when it comes to streaming or using your webcam, the audience understands webcams. They understand stuff, so they're very forgiving. As long as they can hear you, they understand it's a webcam, so they're not judgmental. If you lose track of what you're saying, they understand. They'll go along with it. So don't worry about being perfect when you're doing webcam stuff or just live streaming. People understand, and it kind of endears you to them as well.
Good to know. I'm sorry, I think he might have had a question, but I think I keep interrupting him.
Do y'all have any tips for coming up with video ideas?
We do what's trending. I mean, what's coming out soon. I got the pen out one today. So for us, for us, we work a lot with the Pop Insider, and so we get packages every month, and it's all the new toys or collectibles or things that are coming out for all the new movies. And so right now, we've been focused on. We do a lot of Avengers, a lot of Star Wars, Harry Potter, huge Harry Potter. We do a lot of Harry Potter, and we're a whole house of Hufflepuffs. It's awesome. So the Pop Insider sends us a lot of the stuff that's coming in right now. So we're starting to get a lot of the Captain Marvel stuff coming in, and the in-game, the Avengers in-game stuff is going to be coming out. How to Train Your Dragon 3D. So excited. in Spider-Man, which is part of Marvel. But so we get a lot of the pop culture collectible toys that are coming in and stuff. So that's where our focus is, because it's all the pop culture. But we also go back and we'll like review like older stuff, and I think we actually just got a package of Jurassic World stuff, and it's kind of like the collectible Barbie dolls and stuff, and I didn't even know they existed, so I was really excited about that because that's more my thing. But so that's our ideas, like whatever's coming up in the pop culture collectible world for us.
Yeah, it definitely helps to follow trends, obviously. But for the times where you might not have a trend that you really want to talk on, or maybe for me, sometimes I have to make videos in advance. Usually what I do is I have a note thing on my phone, and every single time I think, I kind of want to talk about that, or, that's interesting, maybe I should go research that. I put it in my phone, so I actually have a long running list of things that I've thought or things that I want to talk about. And the more that you start to engage with your community, a lot of times they'll be making comments or asking questions, and if you pay attention to them, it also helps, because they'll have something that they ask that they're genuinely interested in, but you kind of thought everyone already knew that or something like that, that people would benefit from, so there's that too.
I would say I don't necessarily have a tip for coming up with topics, but I have a rule that the things that I talk about, I make sure it's something that I want to talk about. Don't, say there's a trend that if you did a video about this thing, that you know you're going to get some views. But if you don't want to talk about a thing, if you have nothing to say, if you're not passionate about it, or excited about it, or angry about it, I don't recommend it, because you're just going to be making videos that you don't like.
One thing that happened with us is we were getting a lot of packages from toy companies. We work with a lot of manufacturers, and they send us just gobs of stuff. And it got to the point where they were expecting us to review every little thing that was coming in, and we were getting toddler toys, and we have no desire to do toddler toys at all. And but we were expected to, and so it kind of forced us to do a lot of things that we didn't want to do, and we got burnt out fast. And we actually took 6 solid months off. We took like a 6 solid month break. We've been trying to get restarted again. After taking a break is really hard, because you're having to relearn your time management and things like that. But so when we relaunched, we said, you know what, we're going to do only the things that we want to do now, and it's kind of helped bring the excitement back, and everyone's all excited to get involved again. So definitely do the things that you love, and don't do the things that you don't love. Don't fake it.
All right, do we have any more questions? Okay, I got a question, and I may have asked this before, I don't know. Who do you draw inspiration from on YouTube?
Our channel inspiration started, she was really into PS Toy Reviews and Mommy and Gracie Show. And that was the big shows, the channels that she watched, she absolutely loved them. And it's, when Family Video Network contacted us in 2017 and wanted to partner with us, we actually didn't believe them at first, because the CEO of Family Video Network is Mommy from Mommy and Gracie Show. And so I was like, oh, this is not true. This is not real. And so I would not really respond to them until I actually had a personal phone call so I could recognize the voice. And when I heard her voice, and she was like, let's Skype. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really her. And so that was how our channel started. And then since then we've evolved, because we, again, we don't focus on the kids' toys and stuff anymore. It's the things that we want. And so and we also do a lot of community stuff and local con coverage and things like that. And one of the coolest people I've met is actually a local YouTuber, and his name is Biggest Ray Ray, and he spends so much time and so much effort into the community, and he does all these fundraisers and stuff to provide our local homeless community with resources and things, and he just makes me want to be a better person for me. And anybody else want that? I mean, the Tulsa YouTubers group is amazing. There's some incredible people in this group who are out to change the world.
My biggest inspirations are, of course, the one who started our channel was Anthony was inspiring us to start, for me to start, I wanted to do a channel. That's one of my inspirations, because that's my brother. started this big gaming channel. He started as NEC Rivehawk 1, then he went to Rivehawk, then he went to, now is formerly known as Dat Night 05. And yeah, he has a gaming clan that's called Heaven Knows Us, which is HKU. And he just inspired me. He's in a couple of toy channels, Kelly Maple, Tic Tac Toy, and Monkey Media inspired me. So yeah.
All right, anybody else want to add inspirational things to the list?
Anybody who's out there just trying to do it and trying to figure it out is an inspiration, because it's hard. Now, as far as like drawing from anything, I try to, because I know so much about YouTube now, but I still want to enjoy YouTube, so I just watch channels that I just like to watch that are usually different from my channel, just because I get enough of my channel. So, I'll just watch fun stuff that I like to watch.
Great, thank you. Okay, it looks like we are heading towards the end of this panel. I just want to thank you guys for coming out, and just tell you that we have a Facebook group you can join called Tulsa YouTubers. So just look it up, facebook.com/group/Tulsa YouTubers. We also have a meetup.com group. We meet on the last Saturday of every month at Vazio's Farm Shopping Center. And you're more than welcome to join us there if you ever want to. We have a lot of fun. We have speakers that will come in and talk about different aspects of YouTube. Like if they feel like they're really good at thumbnails, they might do a crash course for us then or something like that. We also have times where we just sit around, eat pizza, and talk about YouTube, all geeky things YouTube. So you're more than welcome to join us. And I just want to thank you guys so much for coming out, and I'll see you later.